Hello world, J-Bob the Video Game Slob coming at you from the back of the Slob Mobile, wanting to show you a pickup that I just did here. So I have the Nintendo 64 Atomic purple extra controller included edition with the styrofoam in the box, a TI-99 4A, a box full of show and jump mangas, and all that kind of stuff in there. A huge supply of Game Informers and other cheat magazines. 21 Nintendo Powers in these great bags, including this nice Zelda one I saw in the back. I've got a nice Pokemon one there. Another full box of mangas, including some Dot Hack series in there. And a box full of consoles that include a GameCube, a Super Nintendo, a regular Nintendo, all sorts of controllers and extra goodies. So I hope to be able to get into this, but this has got to go to the game store in this condition because I'm not going to load and unload it. But I just want to give you a peek at what I picked up, and I paid $240 for this. So, all right, you two, I'm out. Hello world, J-Bob the Video Game Slob coming back at you from a dimly lit boxed TI-99 as we just sort of pan through all the crazy junk here. On the way over to the pickup video part 2, and oh my gosh, what a part 2. You can tell I need better lighting in this area. To the video that you just saw, coming off that clip you just saw. So, what I ended up taking home and how it all sorted out, I'll kind of get to here. So you heard me say at the end of that video, I paid $240 for everything. I ended up cashing out with $275 cash, so I made $35 cash, and I got a whole bunch of stuff, and I got some more pickups. So let's start with, I ended up keeping another box. This is my third one, TI-99. It doesn't have the AV cable to it, but it has everything. It's in plastic. It's in its original clamshell. Everything is like new on it. So I'm just going to keep it in the collection because I don't have any other games. And so the game store is like, yeah, he's like, I'll take it. But, you know, what am I going to do with it if I don't have games? How am I going to move it? So I'm going to end up keeping that. Same with these stupid Nintendo RFs. I have AV cables. He likes AV cables. So those end up being junk. If anybody has a clue what this goes to, I don't know, it was just an extra power cord that was in the box. So I always keep those because sometimes you figure out they go to something and you can use them. I think you probably saw a video where I was buying these for like $1.39 from EB Games. Needless to say, he does not need any more. I still have a mega collection of them. Speaking of mega collections, it had 2 extra NES controllers. The local game store can do nothing with these because there are so many third-party aftermarket ones, etc., that nobody uses them anymore. So, add it to the pile, scorched earth with those. 2 Atari joysticks. They are quick shots, and I don't know if I've had any videos recently, but I have sort of a quick shot collection. All the different ones over all the different consoles that they had. So 2 more quick shot joysticks. I really don't need any more Atari joysticks. I have so freaking many of them. But there you go. I guess we'll do the games here real quick. What games did I pull out from the stack? Not much. The games really weren't great. It was more for the systems and the other things. UMD Video. I kind of collect these like I collect HD DVDs because I have the HD DVD player for the 360. So when I see them, I keep them. You know, they're for the PSP, so I keep them. I didn't have Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure. I don't have a big UMD collection, so it doesn't take much. I really don't have much of a collection for PSP at all, and so even ATV Off-Road was a new game to me. Buzz, I mean, I don't know if this just works or you need the controllers with this, because I know I have this game for the PS2, but you need controllers. I don't know what that is, whatever. It's just a game for the pile. Dog's Life, again, I have a ton of PS2 games, so to find one I didn't have, pretty cool. Turns out this is like a $9.50, $10 game, so pretty unusual game. I'll have to see why that's a decently priced game. I have no clue. I did a trade for this crappy Wii game for a crappy game that was in my lot, but I have 2 copies of Carnival games that are variants, but I don't have Carnival games mini golf, so, you know, again, just pure crap, but there you go. I usually have most WWF games, but did not have the arcade game, so very cool for the Super Nintendo. Always cool to add a Super Nintendo game I didn't have. Speaking of games I didn't have, how often do you find CDI games? There's one CDI game in this lot. Mystic Midway Phantom Express. I had a different Mystic Midway, but I didn't have this one. Only one is sold on eBay. Again, $9.50, $10. So cool to have one. You know, I always like to expand the CDI collection. I don't get that opportunity often. And speaking of, like I just said, I usually have most wrestling games, but here was a Dreamcast game I didn't have. I collect big for the Dreamcast, as you've probably not seen any in the videos. So even if it's a sports game, the opportunity to fill a common hole for me is pretty cool. So there we go. Those were all the games going into my collection. What about the games that aren't going into my collection that the video game store also did not want? Well, with NES and Atari games, unfortunately, there's just so many of them, and oftentimes you find the same games multiple times. And so what I do is always just bring everything in, and then he takes what he wants. And I still did pretty well. I was surprised that there were this many games, considering all that he took. But, you know, anybody that has an Atari has Defender 10 times over. And there's so many variants of it. There's like, you know, the Sears version and the picture labels and all this kind of stuff. But even still, you're going to find tons of copies. So, Defender, Demon Attack, which I like. But, you know, if he already has two of these, you can imagine how common these are. I think I have extras of Circus Atari sitting around. Second favorite game on the system, to be honest with you. Asteroids, pretty common. Space Attack may be the most common of the M Network games. No M Network stamp on that one. Oh, no M Network stamp on this one either, but Football might be a close second when you're talking Mattel games. Fantastic game is Warlords, but again, pretty common. Video Olympics. Sometimes these were used as test carts, so I usually put any Video Olympics cart in just to see if it's actually the game or something else on there. Baseball, pure crap. Another copy of Space Invaders, or maybe it wasn't, but it's just so generic. I like putting the Activision set together. This isn't a particularly good version of one, but yeah, there you go. I always like those. But Demons to Diamonds, another fantastic game. I think this is just recently on a James and Mike Monday. I recommend you play it. A Combat with no label. That's not doing anybody any good. Pac-Man, right behind Combat for the most common game on the system. Here's a Sears picture label that I was talking about. You can see the Sears logo, but otherwise pretty much identical to most Atari games. So Berserk's actually a good game. I was surprised, but he had a couple copies of that. And Golf, you know, nobody's beating down your door to buy Golf. So the NES games that'll join the stack over there. Pinball, always loved that it had Mario on the cover. Anything black label is usually decent. Double Dribbles, a pretty iconic game for most people, so, you know, not bad to have a second copy of. Pro Wrestling, again, very common for a black label, but, you know, is what it is. I think he's down to 6 or 8 copies of RC Pro-Am, and I think this is my 3rd or 4th now. Everybody loves this game. I don't know anybody that didn't want it, but maybe because it was on the Rare Replay or something, but it's just one that doesn't move. Bases Loaded, probably your most basic. I mean, they made 4 different Bases Loaded on the NES, so, you know, not everybody's going to want those all the time. What did I take home in terms of manga? Kingdom Hearts, obviously, Squaresoft. Obviously, you had a video game tie-in, so I had already owned a couple Kingdom Hearts, but I didn't own these particular books or covers or runs. I don't know how manga works, but I didn't have it, so there you go. Dot Hack, I have the Dot Hack games on the PS2, so anytime it references, you know, the set, I think I just did a video where I got the re-release on the PS4, and I haven't got to it yet. So, national bestseller, there you go, based on an RPG. Nice little run. So that's 3, 1, and 2. So, always cool to have a little run, always cool to have video game related stuff. So, I took that out of there. Let's see, how can we do this? I think we can start with these 3, and then we'll run it that way. So, the magazines that I needed didn't have Mario Party, Nintendo Power, what was that, number 117. So the first 100 I always have. There's some in this range that I'm missing. These are like I said, they were like, what did I say, there were 21, I think, and so I ended up getting 3 out of it. 136 I didn't have, and Beautiful Joe 172. So mostly, I mean, those are nice to have, of course. But most of what I'm missing on the Nintendo Power is like the 250 to 280. I think I'm missing a ton in that range. Speaking of really long runs, and of course this happens to be in terrible condition, and it's a Mortal Kombat cover. I like that game. But 2004, so this was the last one I needed in a continuous run back to then. And so now I don't know, with this connecting to the previous ones, you know, how close that puts me to having all the way back to 100. After I get sub 100, I'm missing quite a few, especially in the ones sub 50 and sub 25. But to have, I think we're well over 300, and to go all the way back this far is pretty cool. So, kind of interesting to just happen to find that one. There were only 3 or 4 of those even in the whole run, or in the whole lot. So, that was cool. Magazines that I did keep, and I'm not going to go through these like individually, but I'll just slide them over here, see if I can do this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and you can see that these are, you know, from the era that I like, you know, pre-2000 and some of them into the GameCube. So what is that, 6? Oh, there's a couple duelists in here, you know, from back in the day. And so I'll obviously keep the Pokemon one. I'll probably look through the other one. I don't know if I want to start keeping duelist magazines or not. But the Pikachu one was just so cool that I couldn't turn that down. Yeah, what else did we end up with? Some Tips and Tricks magazines. There's 7 and 8, again from the GameCube, PS2 era. 9 and 10. This one's still sealed in the package, pretty cool. So there's 12. Musashi. Yeah, you can see Zelda Ocarina there. So 14. Oh, I kept this variant because it, you know, when they would send these with the subscription reminder, you couldn't get them off with ripping out the spine off. So a lot of times people rip them off and you don't see them. So I just like to keep part of that for the history, that kind of thing. Not a magazine, but Madden 12 Player's Guide opens the wrong way, so that's kind of weird. I think we're at something like 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. Oh my gosh, there's so many. Let's see here. We got 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, another Zelda, 27, Great Spider-Man, 28, 29, Year of the RPG, there's 30, that was pretty sweet. Ugh. Here we got 31, you gotta love the Smash Bros cover, I mean that's pretty sweet. 32 there, 33, 34 and 35 are issue 200 of GamePro, so it's pretty cool that the person thought to go get a second one of them and keep the extra. So that's pretty cool. 36, nice Pokemon Coliseum. 37, 38. Oh yeah, Codebook, Anniversary Collection. So I ended up with what, like 40 of these. Another one with the Zelda cover. Interesting. And then this one says Special Collector's Edition. And as you've noticed, these last ones are all in plastic. So kind of funny that they thought, oh, maybe it's collector's edition. So like 40 magazines and some strategy guides and other stuff. That would be pretty cool to me. I'd probably spend 20, 25 bucks on that alone. Video's already over 12 and a half minutes. So that's getting pretty long. As well, I bought 2 bikes. I don't know if I mentioned that before. So I sold the 2 bikes off, made $10 profit, and got this nice stack of really cool Legos. You can see the Harry Potter, you can see the shark, a pterodactyl in there. So really cool stuff there that guy hooked me up with. And then this huge bag of Lego, guys. So I don't even know how many are in here. I'm going to have to count. Maybe I'll put that in the next video. But I'm going to say I got $50 in Lego, guys. So although I only made 10 bucks cash, I made a killing on minifigures. Unfortunately, I'll probably keep most of these, but I'll search through. Maybe there'll be something rare that I can just sell off and make some money on. But I like keeping minifigures. I have bags of them because I love them. So there we go. Speaking of things that I bought, so these came online. This was just one of these auctions that I won for the Terminator that was just a really low auction. I think I got it for 14 bucks. It's usually like a $20 game or more. So it was just at such a significant price. It was one of those bids you're just like, well, I'll throw a bid on there and I'm not going to win, especially considering I had a manual. But sometimes these really stupid games that have weird titles, because there's, Terminator 2 always shows up and these kind of things, you just throw out a bid and you never know what's going to happen. And so I think the cheapest I've seen Lethal Weapon for in reasonable shape is probably like 20 to 25 bucks. So this popped up on Amazon for 10 bucks, and it was a game I didn't have. And as you know, I always have some supply of Amazon bucks waiting to be used that are free to me because I do surveys and other dumb kind of things on the internet like Bing rewards. And so that was free. But 10 bucks is way under market value. I think everybody'd agree. So that puts me down to 35 NES games I'm missing for less than 25 bucks. So pretty good deal there. I don't even know how I'm going to do this. So here was kind of a crazy deal that got put together last night. And so all this stuff needs to get down to the video game store right after this video. So this is Baseball 2K1, but inside it has a basketball game. So that's pure crap. Code Veronica with an extra disc 1 in it. I'm not sure what that deal is, but that was complete in box, and Time Stalker's complete there. So that's okay. So basically the deal is I paid 75 bucks for all of this. And so these are the games I'm not keeping from it. Psychic Force, 2012 by Taito. Kind of a cool game. So I'm going to take these off to the video game store. Should put them in a bucket right now so I don't forget about it. That's where those are headed off. I don't think I'm going to get $75 out of... well, here's the system. Has the controller. Came with a memory card, so that's pretty cool. And it worked. I was kind of surprised, because I always assume they won't work. But it was just a really sketchy deal, and I ended up buying it. So I probably overpaid, because I don't think I'm going to get 75 out of those that it traded in. But according to price charting, I have like 45 or 48 bucks or something like this in games that I'm going to keep. So Fighting Force 2, which I just kind of, was learning more about, being the sequels to the Streets of Rage, has the case but no manual or top. Ready to Rumble Boxing. Oh yeah, I had 2, but I didn't have 1. Air Force Delta, didn't have it all. And these are fairly common games, but I just don't have them. Sega Rally 2. Trick Style, I'm sure that sucks. Speed Devils, complete in the box. Crazy Taxi, yeah. Here you go. I guess the timing didn't work out so great on that. WWF Attitude, and then these are just empty cases. So, there you go. That's what I'm going to get to keep. Nothing great, nothing spectacular. I'm hoping if I can sell things off and make 50 bucks to 60 bucks, then I really only going to pay 15 bucks for those games. Dreamcast stuff is just hard to find, and it's hard to find cheap. I don't usually collect for it, but if I can get those games for 20 bucks, half retail, then I'll be doing fine. And I'll rationalize that to myself. I also picked up a GameCube lot. I spent $80 on this. Yesterday was an expensive day, I guess, 155 bucks. So this is what it is. I haven't gone through it yet, so as we look at these, I can't tell you what I'm keeping and what I'm not, because I got to figure that out, and then head down to the game store. So pretty nice looking controller. I mean, not great. You can see a little yellowing on the thumbstick, but it functions really well. A loose disc Need for Speed Hot Pursuit 2. Didn't even really consider that when I bought it. These are always great. They're worth like 10 bucks, so you can always get about 5 bucks cash out of them at the end of the day. So there we go. The game store, yeah, as you can tell, there's some slight sun fading. It's super clean. It's just got the stupid white paint specks on it, and I spent, I don't know, 30 to 60 seconds picking some of them off. You can see the cleaner areas where I kind of went through and picked them off for a little bit, but I could do more of that to make it clean up pretty nice. But he is really short on these, so I'm hoping that, I don't know, maybe there's 35 or 40 bucks there, and then, the Smash gets me home right off the bat. The Wind Waker, missing the manual. Funny story about it is he said the kid that he was selling it for is an older man, selling it for a grandkid or a kid or something like that, and said the kid was such a butthole because he got almost to the end at the last temple and the kid deleted the save. So what a jerk. So those would be going for sale for sure. I don't know if I have these, like Frogger Beyond, or the Lord of the Rings came out on every console and they had like 3 of them. Sonic Gems came out in like Player's Choice and all sorts of different editions, but nothing too spectacular. Dave Mirra 2 came out on everything. Actually, it was a really great game on the Xbox. Never played it on the Dreamcast. Splinter Cell on everything. Soul Calibur 2. Keeping in mind they had different characters, so this one has Link in it. Yeah, how many, Tom Clancy games can a person own? And then finally, wrapping up on Crash Wrath of Cortex. So that one has some decent value too. But almost a 20-minute video. This is probably one of my longest videos, but this is probably almost $400 worth of stuff I just so happened to pick up in like the last 2 days. And so I know I have some cashed out values on some of them. Some of them I'm going to take them in. I'll get you the values next time. And I will check on how many of those Lego figures I got so I can put that in the maybe the text when I edit this video together. So I'm out, YouTube. Peace. I appreciate you.